And welcome, guys, to another episode of the Chairman's Wrestling Podcast. I am the host of the Chairman's Wrestling Podcast, Steven Vincent, and today we are going to talk about Monday Night Raw Independence Day version. And I'm going to be straight up honest with you guys. That Raw may have been one of the worst I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of Raw episodes, but this one was downright awful. I really don't want to come off as a negative person, but unfortunately, when the show starts off with a food fight, like this is your opening segment. How am I going to get invested into a wrestling show when I see people throwing food at each other, when I'm seeing faces and heels hanging out? Every time the WWE does a holiday show with Thanksgiving or 4th of July, Christmas, they're all just awful. I really wish somebody would tell creative that just stop. Just stop. Your holiday theme shows are freaking garbage. They are awful. And I really hope they come to an end someday, but for some reason, somebody finds these funny. I don't find these funny. I find these annoying and stupid. And I'm sure a lot of other fans would agree with me that this is not what we want to see. If I actually went to the show last night, I would be pissed. Because the seats to those live shows, they're not cheap. And this show was complete and utter garbage. Now, I will not say that the show was a complete disaster. There are a few diamonds in the rough, which I'll get to, but overall, ew. So if you've seen the show, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen the show, tread with caution. Anyways, the first match, believe it or not, we didn't start a Raw with a 25-minute promo. Shane and Stephanie were both not on TV last night. I don't know if they were backstage or because of the holiday they weren't there. And you know what? They probably weren't there. Neither was Vince. Maybe, I don't know, because that show was just hot mess. Again, anyways, Rusev had a United States Championship match against Titus O'Neil. They announced this on SmackDown, I believe, when Rusev successfully defended the title against Cesaro, when Cesaro won a match on SmackDown to give him the right to challenge Rusev. Now, my question is, why didn't they have the Cesaro match on this Raw episode instead of SmackDown? I wish Cesaro would have been facing Rusev. I would have been more excited than Titus O'Neil. I'm sure a lot of fans would have been more excited, especially the Cesaro section. I have nothing against Titus O'Neil personally. I think he does great things outside the WWE, especially for charities and stuff. But, between the 60-day suspension or whatever it was recently, it kind of killed his momentum. And Titus really is just another guy. He really hasn't separated himself from some of the other superstars. And being that Rusev hasn't had the United States Championship for a very long time, we knew Rusev was going to lose this match. But the fact of the matter is, we've seen Rusev and Titus O'Neil now several times. And I'm really hoping this is the last time we see these two wrestle. I think Rusev needs to move on to a better feud. And I really hope that happens. And the real question is, why is Titus O'Neil wearing Virgil's pants? You guys remember Virgil from, the $1 Million Man days, and when he split from the $1 Million Man, he was a singles wrestler, wasn't very successful, but he used to wear these red and white striped pants. Now, I get Titus O'Neil's got the American flag thing going on somewhat, but you can barely see the blue. They seriously look like Virgil's pants, only they're long shorts. But obviously, Rusev successfully defended his title against Titus, and I give props for a title match being on Raw, something that they don't do very often. But like I said, I'm hoping that Rusev moves on to something bigger and better come Battleground. I guess we will see. And then the next match was just a gut-wrencher for me. The Social Outcast Heath Slater, Bo Dallas, and Curtis Axel. Almost want to say Adam Rose, but he's gone, obviously. They dressed as Minutemen. I didn't get that at all. I mean, obviously it's a 4th of July theme, but was it a Fallout 4 thing going on, or was it just the fact that they only can wrestle for a minute and then they get beat? And right when Endzone Cast came out, you knew this was going to be a complete squash match, and surely enough it was. And I like the booking they're doing of Endzone Cast. I think Endzone Casts are, one of the few bright spots in the WWE right now. It's hard to say. I mean, them had a tag team championship attempt, was solid. And I thought they might have been the tag team champions by now. But obviously that's not the case to be. But from what I've seen, Enzo Cass, they're still getting a lot of time on television. And Enzo and Cass can really cut the promos, especially Enzo. My question is, how did that man memorize every president in order? I mean, unless he messed up somewhere, but I don't think he did. I think he nailed them all in a row. So that guy's got some props from me, that's for sure. And obviously Endzone and Cass took care of the Social Outcast, and there'll be more on them later in the show. The next event we had was Charlotte and Dana Brooke coming out, spewing their spew, whatever it is. And this Charlotte reign as women's champion is really stale and getting old fast. I really thought that the WWE messed up by letting Charlotte leave WrestleMania as a champion. Obviously, Sasha Banks would have been my preferred choice, but I feel I'd be okay even with Becky Lynch as the women's champion, especially since Becky never got a chance with the NXT Women's Championship. So I felt Becky's a hard worker in the ring, one of the best they have. I feel she deserves that recognition to be called a champion. But obviously she's not in the picture right now. Sasha is, thank goodness. We've all been waiting for Sasha to return. But they're really, really slow burning this Charlotte-Sasha feud. There's a lot of trash talking. There's been some ruffling going on, but nothing official. Charlotte claims to be the best. She's had the title for probably the better part of the duration that she's been on the main roster, since she stated that the NXT women made their debut next week last year. And Charlotte's right, she has been the champion, but she has never faced Sasha one-on-one, and she has not beaten Sasha 1-2-3 in a one-on-one match. And that's what Sasha wants, to prove that she can, still beat Charlotte. But Charlotte won't have none of it. She's the champion. So I don't know if we're going to get this match at Battleground or not. It's hard to say. And I feel we should have a women's championship match at this pay-per-view coming up. But I really can't see Sasha winning it at Battleground either, especially with the whole Dana Brooke factor. And my question is, had Emma not gotten hurt, would Dana Brooke probably would not be with Charlotte right now? So it's kind of interesting what the plans would have been had that all not went down for Emma. So, needless to say, Charlotte and Sasha are going to continue to spit fire at each other. Moving on, we had our champion versus champion rematch from SmackDown. Dean Ambrose, the WWE World Champion, or they should call him WWE Champion. I'm not really sure what to call the guy anymore because of the whole brand split, 2 world champions most likely, so whatever. Miz is the Intercontinental Champion, and I, for one, despise these champion versus champion matches. I feel that they're very lame. Unless they're going to put the titles on the line, like they did at SummerSlam last year when Cena took on John Cena and Seth Rollins. I think it was whatever. You know what I mean. Cena, Rollins, U.S. title, and WWE Championship. That's a champion-on-champion match. Hogan and Warrior, WrestleMania 6. That's a champion versus champion match. I feel when they do these on Raw and SmackDown to be cool, they're not cool, they're lame. It's even worse when they take SmackDown matches and redo them on Raw. I absolutely despise it. I hate it. I don't want to see this match again. I like to see fresh things. Unless there's a reason to get invested, which I'm not invested in this. and the fact that The Miz has been flat. And I mean, obviously they had to make their movie with him, take him off TV, but I felt that if he was going to be off TV, he should have dropped the Intercontinental title to either Sami Zayn or Cesaro. And that was a missed opportunity, I thought. And, I mean, he's come back and he's been flat. He really, all that momentum he built up when he beat Zack Ryder is pretty much gone. Miz is back to the same old stale character again. And I really feel his time as Intercontinental Champion should come to a close soon, hopefully to another superstar. And feuding with Dean Ambrose, I wouldn't even call it a feud, but interacting with Dean Ambrose is not the right way to go with The Miz. It's just complete waste for the Intercontinental title. And Ambrose obviously beat him both times. So what's that tell you? So after Ambrose beats The Miz again, him and Seth Rollins have a little interaction, and then Ambrose does some commentary with the Spanish announcers and the other, announcers. So as you can see, Rollins and Ziggler. Match of the night, by the way. One of the few good things of this Raw episode that was terribly bad was Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler. Now, Seth Rollins is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Definitely of the current product right now. Probably because we're from the same state. He grew up an hour away from where I live, but Rollins is incredible in the ring, and it looks like he hasn't missed a beat with his injury. And Ziggler's a good worker. It's nice to see him not fighting Baron Corbin for once. But I feel like Ziggler's peak has come and gone. I remember when Ziggler was white hot a couple years ago, right when I got back into wrestling again. And it was 2012-13, he won the Money in the Bank. And he was probably one of the most fun superstars to follow with the Money in the Bank briefcase because he tried so many times. And he was like the biggest underdog, even though he was a heel most of his run. But when he finally cashed it in, it was one of the coolest moments ever for me as a wrestling fan because it's like, holy crap, this guy got over finally. And sadly, the title reign didn't last long. But needless to say, Ziggler really hasn't been able to capture that magic for some reason. Mostly probably creative, but now he's just kind of a seasoned veteran, lost in the mid-card, no direction. I mean, he had a minor role a few years ago with the whole Authority Survivor Series story, but yeah, he's really been kind of just lost. Pretty much jobber to the stars, I guess, anymore. And sure enough, great match, but Rollins, of course, won, and Rollins should have won this match. I was very skeptical if they would have had Ambrose distract Rollins and Ziggler got the win, but I feel Rollins needs to win matches, and that's where the one complaint I have with Rollins' WWE title run last year was getting beat by Heath Slater and J&J Security. That is not how you book your world champion. Your world champion should be basically unbeatable unless, he loses the title. I mean, losing to random superstars on Raw and SmackDown is not how you book your world champion. I stand by that. I mean, you can do it as a shock thing every once in a great while, but for how many times Rollins was getting pinned in matches, it was just disgusting to me. But anyways, so we had a great match here between those two, and honestly, I felt this whole should have closed the show out. They should have had Ambrose, Miz, and then Rollins Ziggler close the show. And then, because obviously afterwards, there was this confrontation between Ambrose and Rollins. I don't really know why they stood on tables. That was kind of weird. But Rollins was taking more shots at Roman Reigns, which is kind of funny. And I'm really surprised that WWE would actually bring up more Reigns again like that. I thought they would maybe kind of quietly just pretend, but obviously they're going to keep Reigns in the triple threat match, so they kind of have to keep him in the conversation by any means necessary, even with Rollins taking shots at him. And then, of course, Ambrose don't care. He'll beat anybody, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, they had a little scuffle. And sure enough, Ambrose tried to put Rollins through the table and failed. And, I give credit for those announcer tables. Those tables are sturdier than ever these days. I remember those things used to break every time someone got touched through them. But nowadays, they don't go down. They stay up. So, needless to say, that takes care of that. But, Vicky Guerrero, remember her? She used to be the former general manager of SmackDown. Well, she came back last night to put her name in the hat for the GM position. And, it was only a matter of time she was going to show up. I mean, Teddy Long showed up. John Laurinaitis, whatever, showed up. So, Vicky was going to show up. I mean, she was one of the staples. I wish something really cool would happen. It would be like the return of like Eric Bischoff or Kurt Angle, but I don't see that happening. I just hope the anonymous general manager doesn't show up, because that would be bad. So we got, a couple more weeks of this anonymous, well, I should say anonymous, but, until the draft. So we might get another special guest appearance or two, who knows, but it's just filler. So we move on to our next match, which was really pointless, filler. We had BreezeDango at ringside, VIP, which I was hoping this feud was over, but since they were at ringside in their makeshift VIP lounge scouting the Golden Truth, it looks like they're not done yet. And the poor Vaudevillains, unfortunately, were the ones taking on the Golden Truth, and the match was really nothing memorable. It was over quickly. Golden Truth won. Vaudevillains are pretty much going to be making the ascension to ascension status, which is not a good thing. And another NXT tag team looks like they're going to suffer as a jobber to the mid-card? I don't know. Which is unfortunate, because I like the Vaudevillains. I think they work solid. They're unique gimmick, which was actually kind of a concern for me on the main roster. But when they came up, they actually had a nice little run for a few months. Even got a title shot against New Day. But like I said, unfortunately, now it looks like they're going to just fade, I think. I mean, the brand split might save the Vaudevillains, and I hope it does. But right now, if they're getting beat by the Golden Truth, two guys over their 40s, that's not a good sign. That's just not a good sign. If anything, I'm hoping BreezeDango gets over at the end of this feud, because I'm a big fan of Tyler Breeze. I loved his NXT stuff. I really wish he would have got a nice solo run, but for some reason that didn't work out. So, but at least, BreezeDango is getting Breeze on TV, and it's getting Fandango back on. They might benefit from the brand split, if any tag team will, and maybe solo stars down the road. That remains to be seen. And then up next we had the John Cena Club segment. We've seen this how many weeks now? It's really, last week was a little curveball, because Cena and Styles were trying to get into the WWE Championship match at Battleground, which they both obviously didn't make. So they're going to take it out on each other. And the club, Styles is actually a lot better of a mic worker as a heel, I think, compared to when he first started in WWE as a face. And I think with the whole club, it's just clicking really well for him. And Gales and Anderson are even, getting involved on the promos. And it's a solid group. I'm a fan of the club. I've been a fan of Styles for years, so it's good to see him, get some investment in this match. But you knew what was going to happen, and sure enough, Cena got attacked. So I was just crossing my fingers the Usos were not going to be the ones making the save, and sure enough, WWE went a different direction, a direction I didn't expect them to go to. And for this, I give them a thumbs up. Enzo and Cass make the save to Cena. And after this all went down, the match was booked for Battleground coming up here on pay-per-view. We get the club versus Cena, Enzo, Cass. Great match. It's going to be great to see Enzo and Cass once again in a high-profile feud. So this keeps them in the conversation. The club, are going to be there. Cena's going to be there. Should be a great match. I'm looking forward to it. Battleground, surprisingly, is shaping up to be fairly decent now with this match along with the Triple Threat Shield match. And, of course, there's a few other matches. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens was booked as well. Like I said, though, this match needs a stipulation. If this is going to be the end of this feud of Owens and Zayn, there needs to be a last man standing stipulation or an I Quit match. It just needs to happen. More on those two later. Alrighty, so we got Becky Lynch and Summer Rae. A match that was supposed to happen last week but didn't. And this obviously was just a squash match for Becky to look good. And another match for Battleground that was made. Becky Lynch will face Natalya. I'm surprised it took them this long to get this match, but it's here. The only thing that bugs me is we still don't have a women's championship match, as I said before. Are we going to have Charlotte and Sasha or not? My guess is we're probably not going to get it. We're probably going to get stuck with Sasha and Paige versus Dana and Charlotte. It reminds me of Nikki Bella all over again. Some pay-per-views, she just gets in a tag match with Brie, and she wants to defend her title. And it's Nikki and Charlotte's reigns almost feel similar to me in some aspects. And I really think it's time that we get a fan-favorite women's champion, and it needs to be Sasha Banks. It just needs to be done. I don't care if it's predictable. Otherwise, give it to Becky, or hell, call it Bayley. It's time for Bayley to come to the main roster. You know, the NXT is in great hands with Asuka now, and there's a lot of up-and-comers like Carmella, Alexa Bliss, Nia Jax. Just get Bayley on the main show. It's time, especially the draft. It's time. Anyways, enough of that. Let's move on to more New Day and the Wyatts. And this is getting really weird. They have Xavier still not really talking. It's mostly Big E and Kofi. And Bray and Eric Rowan and Braun Strowman are at some compound, I guess. I really don't know what the end game is going to be here. Are we going to have a tag team championship match between them, or is it going to be 3-on-3? Some of them a compound now, so are these guys going to fight in a compound or what? But now Xavier's all paranoid, and now this is getting real weird of him because he's all scared and he thinks this could be the end of the New Day. And if WWE ends the New Day, it's probably one of the worst decisions they've made right now. They sell mad merchandise. I see signs, I see Booty-O shirts, I see horns. I have Booty-O box and horn at home. I got New Day t-shirts. I got New Day action figures. I'm invested in New Day. Lots of fans are invested in New Day. Some people may feel New Day's run its course, but what else are you going to do with New Day if you split them up? I mean, let's go back. Xavier was nothing. He was floundering around, getting beat by everybody, if he was even on TV. Kofi was, your typical mid-card guy, jobber to the stars. Once in a while would maybe win a mid-card title. And Big E he had his little, run with the Intercontinental Championship, but it was definitely forgettable. These three need to stay together right now. I really think they do. Now, when New Day, the time does come, I could see Big E, if used properly, be a main event star. He can talk. He's funny. So, he's just a big guy. So he could, I think, be a main star. And Xavier, surprisingly for little he gets in the ring on television, some of that stuff he did with Styles a few weeks ago was pretty impressive. So, he could definitely go. And Kofi, being a veteran, obviously has some positives to him as well. Power positivity, guys. But now's not the time to end the New Day. And this whole thing of the Wyatts will be interesting. My guess is Luke Harper will probably show up, and who knows. But more on that, I guess, as we get closer to Battleground. And finally, the disastrous main event. This match absolutely pissed me off. First off, this should not be a main event. Half of these guys are like superstars main event guys. Like Team USA. It's not. It's just awful. All right, you got Mark Henry, Jack Swagger, Big Show Kane, Dudley Boys, Apollo Crews, and Zack Ryder. Is that all of them? Now, Dudley's are heel, and I don't know what Henry, Show, and Kane are these days because they change every other week. And then Apollo Crews is the smiling baby face, and Ryder's the, here today, getting beat by everybody tomorrow. Swagger, same thing, just getting beat in general. So, I mean, this composed Team USA, it's like the average age is probably 40 plus, other than like the young guys like Crews. And I think Ryder just was over 30. Swagger's probably over 30, but I think everybody else on that team is over 40. I mean, almost Team USA is composed of Attitude Era guys. They should have just switched out Apollo Crews and Zack Ryder and had R-Truth and Goldust join them, and we could have had the Attitude Era. Seriously. You know what else makes me kind of annoyed here is this would have been a great opportunity to introduce American Alpha. Jason Jordan and Chad Gable, hot team in NXT. You know, America, this would have been a great time to do it, but of course, missed opportunity. But I don't know what makes me more mad is the other team. International, I don't even know what they call themselves. I can't remember nor care. But okay, so yeah, the baby faces Lucha Dragons, Kalisto Sin Cara. But yet they're going a team with Alvaro Del Rio, and Kalisto and Del Rio tried killing each other for the U.S. title not too long ago. But yet Del Rio's also on the same team as Sheamus. They were on the League of Nations together. They had a fallout, and they just walked out on each other like the last week or two. Why are they teaming up? Oh, but it gets better because we got Chris Jericho and Cesaro in there too, and Del Rio, and they all were fighting for the Money in the Bank. And, you know, Cesaro and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, they've been feuding for months for the Intercontinental title, Money in the Bank. They've been intertwined for months. But why in the hell is Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens on the same damn team? Why in the hell, when they have a match at Battleground, they've been trying to kill each other since NXT? Why in the hell are they teaming up together? This is the worst booking decision made probably this year. This team of international superstars should not coexist. And yeah, I get it. The match happened, and there was tension. Of course there was going to be tension. These guys hate each other. But they're sitting in the locker room pre-game talk. No, absolutely not. Terrible. This match was awful. It was a mess. It was the worst thing I could... Oh, disgusting. I mean, here, the worst part of it all is Big Show, of course, is the one that's the last man standing with Zack Ryder. Why is the Big Show the last man standing? He should be putting people over. He shouldn't be wrestling anymore. His time has passed. Him and Mark Henry should just go away. They're done. And, you know, Kane, I'll have to say it, is probably right behind him. I mean, what the hell? And Apollo Crews gets eliminated. You know, if Team USA is going to win, you know, maybe we should have the young up-and-coming guy maybe be there at the end. You know, but no, it's Zack Ryder who won the Intercontinental title and lost it the next night and probably hasn't won a match since. Ugh. What the hell, man? What the hell? It was awful. There they are celebrating. Zack Ryder's celebrating probably the only win he's going to get the rest of the year because that's the way creative treats him. I don't even know what to say. That was an awful Raw, though, and I'm scared to watch SmackDown this week. To be all honest with you guys, I'm just terrified. So, I don't know what to say, but I give that Raw 2 out of 10. It was bad. It was bad. If it wasn't for the Rollins and Ziggler match, it probably would have got a -5. But I was pretty hot on Twitter last night. You can follow me at Chairman Podcast on Twitter. You can ask me questions, leave me feedback, you know, about my wrestling raves and rants. You can respond to this video. Tell me what you like, don't like. So the plan here is I'm going to watch Nitro and ECW Hardcore TV, and then I should have my next throwback video up. And then I don't know if I'm going to do SmackDown this week or not for a review. It really depends on the show. If the show is complete shit, don't expect me to review it. Plus, I also have to find time to do it. That's also another thing. So, yeah. Anyways, thanks for listening to the Chairman's Wrestling Podcast. Hopefully our Raw is better next week, being that it's not a holiday. Click the like button. Follow me. Tweet me questions, feedback, what you like, don't like, all that good stuff. Oh, yeah, big news. Brock Lesnar, SummerSlam opponent revealed on SmackDown. So it was a reason to watch or get spoiled on the internet tonight. I was thinking Kevin Owens or Randy Orton would be a great opponent. Rumors are pointing to Orton, so that'd be cool. 2002 class. They've only wrestled once, back when Orton was a nobody, so that could be fun. Anyways, guys, my half hour is up. I'm going to cut it here. So, like I said, thanks for listening to the Wrestling Podcast, the Chairman's Wrestling Podcast, and we will see you next time.